Hey, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another reading. There's a little bit of background noise in this one. Lots of cars. So try and pay attention, try and stay focused. Hopefully it doesn't pick up too much, but hey. So yeah, a love reading today. I'm feeling the vibes of like something new coming in. So if you're single, it's probably going to be obviously a new person coming in. But I guess if you're in a relationship watching this, don't turn away, because I'm kind of getting the vibes of this is kind of a reignition or like I guess a new chapter, but like um a new kind of relationship formed within the relationship that you have. So with the introduction out of the way, get stuck into the piles: pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Feel free to pause the video and I'll get stuck into pile 1s. Pile 1s, what we've got for you. Feeling something kind of abstract. Would that be too simple? I'm kind of getting like, okay, I'll do it. There's sometimes this fear when doing these intuitive drawings of just ruining it, which I think I have kind of. I do prefer it like that, but yeah, I'm gonna keep it simple today because that's what's coming through. It's got a lot of power in this reading, pile 1s. I don't know what you see, what you feel. It's quite powerful. It reminds me a lot of the reading called New You. So if you haven't seen that video, pile 1s, I recommend you checking it out. Just type New You into the If You Pause YouTube search. I'd assume that this is the feminine energy and this is the masculine energy. In that video, it seems to be two masculines, or oneself, if you like, butting heads. But here, it's there is kind of an Aries Ram type energy, so you might relate to that energy, pole 1s. But this is well, not obviously, but this is more romantic than the New You video, because it's like they could be drawing in for a kiss. Do you know what I'm saying? It's got that kind of energy. It could be to do with the fact, so there could be like a friction, but you know, some relationships are kind of love-hate, you know, passionate. You guys might even get stimulated by a bit of arguing type energy. I'm also getting from this star, I think that translates into the Aquarius energy. Could be wrong there, but that's kind of what's coming through. So Aries, Aquarius. It's really interesting because, and I do recommend pile 1s that you pause the video and kind of just sit on this drawing and see if anything comes through to you. But as simple as this drawing is, I'm getting so much description, which is really interesting, because it's like, how do you get all that description? Possibly, what's it? Yeah, basically just like downloads from such a simple drawing. But these two characters, they're kind of pulsing right now. So I'm gonna give you some keywords. I think I'll kind of successfully describe the relationship. Obviously, we could be here for years doing that, but I think passionate, that kind of hate-love relationship is coming through. Like I said, there's an Aries, Aquarius dynamic, so whatever you associate with those signs, don't necessarily always go with what Google tells you. Use your own intuition too. Look up into the stars and pause and say, what does Aries mean to you? What does Aquarius mean to you? And one thing that I do advise for people who watch this is, in this age here of like masculine, feminine energy, it always makes me laugh how people don't do the same for astrology signs. So, Aquarius, Aries, for example, it's like, as an Aries, I always associate Aries with things like the warrior. But because I'm a man, I've always associated that with the male warrior, but I don't necessarily think, oh, what's the feminine version of that? It's probably more like that Athena energy. But maybe not, Maybe it looks, maybe it looks more like that Venus energy, because it's a warrior of the femininity. Maybe Athena is just the female in her masculine energy, but it's not the feminine warrior, because when you that's, I'm kind of just thinking out loud here, but that's what I want you to do, part ones, because when I tap into the energy in its pureness, what does the feminine warrior look like without too much influence. It's probably, yeah. So it's like it's coming to me in this way, but it's probably not the Shield Maiden, Viking, or Athena. To me, that's a feminine in her masculine warrior energy, which is beautiful in its own sense, but it's not necessarily the feminine warrior. The feminine warrior in its pureness probably resembles more like, I'm just my perception here, it's more almost like that Queen of Pentacles energy. I'm not sure if this is that description, but it's almost like the wife that kisses the soldier when they're going into battle, and she composes herself emotionally to give him the strength to go battle. And her warrior is probably in her prayers and in the energy that she's sending to that masculine. Do you see? So I know someone listening to this might just go, no, well, that's just the opposing energy of Aries. So that's like is it Aries and Venus? That's just the opposites playing out. Opposites attract. But it's like, not really, because it's like, what do you define as a warrior? The warrior is it's more to do with bravery, courage, a fighter. And there's many ways to do that. Um, so look, anyways, I'm going off tangent here. These things that I'm speaking about, though, they might be triggering you or really hitting your soul and understanding, um, resonating with you, basically. But I want you, power number ones, to do that same thing, because I think, uh, what's the point in being spiritual if you can't decipher for yourself, if you can't see through the veil, if you can't see through the smoke and mirrors, if you can't come up with your own definition, or not even come up with your own definition, but see the clearest, the clear definition opposed to like the watered down version. So yeah, I'm even sitting on that energy myself, because it's like I kind of pushed my own thought process there of the feminine warrior. You know, like if I was to summarize this, and you guys might be screaming at me, like I said, you might be screaming at me or agreeing with me. It's like the feminine, the masculine energy of the warrior physically fights, and the female energy probably like spiritually fights. She's fighting in the spirit, in the unseen. Now, obviously, both energies can play the two parts. The female can physically fight, and the feminine can physically fight, and the masculine can fight in the spiritual too. But it kind of in its simplicity, I think that's also another way to explain that energy, is that the Aries masculine fights physically, takes action physically, and the feminine takes action in the unseen, fights in the unseen. Man, that's deep. Part number one, I think that's your reading, because actually no, it isn't. I can't leave you like that. But I know I'm going I'm going off in a tangent. So where I was gonna go is kind of just explaining some of these descriptive words. This is going to be more clarification for you, part ones. These two characters were like oozing descriptive words, so I'm going to just ring off these words so you can understand, or hopefully synchronize with these words. So if you're in the feminine energy or the masculine energy, you can be like, okay, yeah, this dude is he's describing me, or at least the future version of me. So let's start off with the feminine energy. So yeah, I would say both of these characters, I'm getting powerful. I feel, one of the first words is emotional. Don't get triggered by that. Emotional. Because I can see this character almost, okay, so powerful is first. So let that underpin your reading, part ones, powerful energies, and you and your partner or future partner, both powerful is the energy. It's like I'm getting this feminine energy, like she could almost be crying, but she's remaining strong, if that makes sense. Now, when I'm saying crying, I'm not saying that she's just bawling, or this feminine energy is just bawling or upset or distraught. It's almost like the type of energy of you know, when someone cries and then they laugh 5 minutes after because someone says, "Oh, do you remember when you done X, Y, and Z?" And it kind of makes that person laugh. They've still got the tears streaming down, or they're a little bit red-eyed, but they're back into laughter. They're back into their energy. Does that make sense? That's coming through for some reason. I'm getting intelligent. I'm getting a lot to do here, like kind of with the mouth. So talking, you might be a good talker if you're feminine watching this. I'm also getting like there's a lot here to do with like the mouth. I'm seeing almost like energy going like digestion, like into the something to do with like digestion. I'm almost seeing like if someone was to drink water, the whole trail of that water going into the body. Water. So we did say emotional, so you might be a water sign. Connect with water energy, pile ones. This could also, pile ones, just be talking about your feminine and masculine energy. I don't know why, but I'm also getting like a bit of Mediterranean vibes, like could be kind of olivey skinned, something like that, or tan skinned. Or if not tanned, like if you're, so yeah, you could be like black, like darker skinned, but then not if not darker skinned, I'm getting like lighter skinned, but with the darker hair. Does that make sense? It's like that kind of look. Yeah, I don't know. The feminine here might have been like crying recently. Like you might have been crying a lot. You might have been just letting out a lot of your emotions recently. Like a lot of like crying, but I'm not necessarily getting the energy here of like depressed or upset. Sometimes it's just like I don't know. I don't want to speak of all like females or feminine energies out there, but you know, everyone vents in a different way, you know. And I find that a lot of the time, like feminine, the feminine energy, um, they just need to vent. So maybe you've just been doing that. It's not like the world's gonna end type crying. It's just like maybe letting out traumas and stuff, or letting out emotions, letting out feelings, processing. If I didn't say that, so that's the feminine. The masculine energy, obviously, like anchoring with the powerful again. I'm kind of getting a little bit of stubbornness here. Sorry, y'all, my masculines out there. Yeah, it's something a bit like stubborn about this energy. It's like very. It's a little bit a little bit black and white. Try not to speak about myself. What I mean by that, actually, let me elaborate. The way the energy is coming through, um, I don't know. I think maybe you two have been arguing. This has kind of got it's kind of got a bit of an arguing energy, but it's kind of light-hearted. It doesn't seem like a breakup. Yeah, there's like so that stubbornness. I haven't personally been through any arguments recently, especially not relationship stuff. Um, just so you know, par ones, because it's very easy for readers, as much as they say not to get their own energies into these readings, it is easy to do that. So I just want to clarify that. Right, I'm not in a relationship at the moment, or am I? What was it, projecting? Um, but it does make me laugh because some of these readings, even though you might not be going through the circumstance of the people who you're reading for, we are all energetic beings, right? So it's kind of reflecting um, parts of us, if we like it or not. It's reflecting things that we can at least relate to sometimes. Not all the time. Like there's readings where I'm like, man, that is so detached from myself, even though we're all connected. That is so not me. There's readings like this where it's like, I can relate to that though, like that might have been me in the past, or uh, yeah, anyways, rambling. This energy, it seems to me like, let's say if you was arguing with this person, this masculine energy, it's like they've got just a very blunt answer for something. So you can imagine this feminine energy talking, blah, 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 blah. I shouldn't even say blah, blah, blah. But, making a point. And, like, the answer that this masculine is giving is like, no, that's not right. And the thing is that this energy is being read by, like, it feels to me like this energy is being read by the feminine, like this person doesn't care because their answer is so black and white. But they do care. It's just the way that they're expressing it is in the masculine's head. And it's interesting because I can learn from this myself, but it's like the masculine has basically kind of just like made up their mind on their decision, like on how they feel about this thing. And that's being read like they don't care, like they haven't thought about it. When really they have, It's like watching this whole reading for pole number ones and their answer being, the feminine energy is emotional and the masculine energy is stubborn. Now, if I just came onto the reading, I just gave you that as information. You could say, oh, well, that was a kind of a good summary there, Zed. But there was a whole load of thought, feelings, evaluation, knowledge that went into that answer. And sometimes this feminine energy, for whatever reason, doesn't grasp that masculine has actually done all that work in order to give that blunt answer, what they may seem as blunt. Does that make sense? Now, any feminines watching this, don't let your dude like get off easily. If they're just being a dick and giving you some shallow, short answers, and you can see straight through that, pull them up on it. So that's for all my feminines out there. But I'm just saying that there might be a blind spot that you're missing where a good way to evaluate this is, for the feminines listening to this and they're like, man, I can really relate. This is my masculine at this time. Evaluate from their intelligence. And by that, I mean, obviously, their intelligence, IQ, not like we are aware of everyone's IQ, but just their mind intelligence, if that's even a thing. And then evaluate it from an EQ, emotional intelligence perspective too. So what I'm trying to say here is your answer for the feminines looking at this masculine is evaluate that person in order to understand their answer. Right, so when we're in places of emotion, for example, we can hear an answer and disregard who it's coming from. So someone with low EQ, low intelligence, saying no to you is not the same as someone with more intelligence and higher EQ who actually cares about how you feel, saying no as an answer or yes as an answer. So I think that's kind of just a lesson maybe there. And like I said, if your masculine here is not really in touch with their emotions, or just their intelligence, social intelligence, intelligence in general, like they maybe need to be pulled up. But just kind of for the feminines listening to this, like I said, this is just something to sometimes anchor yourself in. You can remind yourself, like, okay, wait, this person isn't an idiot. You know, like, they've probably thought about that, even if they haven't given you proof that they have, you know? Like, give them that if they deserve it. I'm getting kind of structured for the masculine energy. And I guess the masculines watching this, just to end that, you might just want to verbalize what I just told you. You know, hopefully you can say it more eloquently than me, or more empathetically than me. But you might just need to vocalize that or verbalize that with the feminine, that when you're speaking in this way or being direct, it's not flippantly. It's that you've kind of come up with this conclusion with thought. So I'm also getting like structured from the masculine. I'm gonna know that's you. You know, the type of person who's kind of got their shit together, even if things are a bit rocky. I'm getting the energy that, like, you know, you're that person with a plan. I've got an energy here, a little bit like you may be bored of something. So, masculines, or if you're even the feminine watching this, pay attention to the fact that your masculine might be like a little bit bored of something. Maybe not to like give up on something. It's not that it's not right for you. I don't know what this is to do with. Could even be an activity, like a hobby. That they're kind of a little bit bored. They haven't realised that they're kind of bored of something. That's why they're losing interest in something. I don't know why that's coming through. But pile ones, this has been half an hour. Hallelujah, it's been half an hour. Pile twos and pile threes, I've got no chance of getting that much time. So run with it, pile number ones. Run free, and I'll see you in the next reading. If you liked it, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Pile number twos. Hopefully a little bit of a quicker reading for y'all. I'll pause on that for a bit. 1 second. Okay. A little bit wonky. gonna leave that there. It's been incredibly simple, these readings today. Really like that one though. Isn't that nice? Are you feeling it, pal twos? I'm really feeling that. Wow. Yeah, I really like that. So what you're looking at here, I'm not sure if you're even getting it. There's me kind of just admiring the illustration. Part two's be looking at it like, what the? Is that the McDonald's sign or something? Badly drawn. Well, I don't know. What do you see? What do you feel from that? Part two. It's a good question. I tell you what was coming through on this end is so you got the feminine, eyes closed, the hair, and then the masculine over the top, above. So there was an energy here of almost sleeping, but even just from the positioning here, we can tell that there's a sense of like looking over type energy. There's a sense here of, it could even be meditation. It might not be sleeping, it might be meditating. Just as I was talking, I just saw like a interracial couple. I don't know why, it kind of just made me laugh. I feel like I kind of know why it made me laugh, because I was like, damn, like that's a message for someone who's listening to this. It kind of, sometimes things make me like chuckle or laugh when I know that someone out there might say there's no such thing as coincidence, but it kind of makes me like laugh a little bit when you see something and you really, really know it's not coincidence. Does that make sense? Like, like if you see a certain license plate on a car and it's a whole bunch of numbers that you keep seeing that day, there comes a point sometimes where it actually makes you laugh out loud like a crazy person, right? Well, maybe you don't relate to me, pile number twos, but for me, that happens. Like, oh man, like you can't make that shit up kind of laugh. So I just saw like an interracial couple. The good news was that they looked kind of happy together. They looked like they were vibing out. You guys might not be interracial here, but the energy was like, so that spirit was giving me here. Sometimes it's not interracial of the skin color, but of like the soul, or you could even touch on like almost that starseed energy, past life energy too. Like if this is someone that you're coming into contact with, who you've come into contact with in a past life, in the past you might have been of two different races and now you're of the same race, or vice versa, however it kind of makes sense to you. There's that energy coming through. There seems to be here a little bit of like a looking over. I think I might have said that earlier. So like the masculine, there's not much DL here. It could be that the masculine is like teaching the feminine energy something. But it's quite protective too. I also feel like I'm just gonna kind of describe what's coming through here. Hopefully, you're gonna see what resonates. I'm not sure if there's much need to describe each energy in this reading. I think it's more about the connection. But I feel like, let's say if this was a dark room, it's almost like the masculine is controlling this outer space. But it's not in kind of, don't get freaked out. It's not in like a possessive way or something like that. It's almost like the space is his. So it would be the equivalent of like, let's say, like, let's keep that example. Let's say that you're new to meditation, and the masculine is able to say to you, look, I have at my place, I've got just a room for meditation, or I've got a little cabin in my garden that I use just for meditation, or possibly even I have a separate studio for just meditation, or I teach it and you can come to the studio. Do you understand? There's this sense that you're coming into this masculine space, in ways almost like even his nest. Do you know what I mean? Like, I guess the masculine energy, or at least men, we probably like refer more to our cave, like the man cave. I'm not sure for anyone who's not like English out there. In England, we call like the little man space that he has a man cave. So the nest is more like of a feminine description, but it's just the same thing. Do you know what I mean? Bullshit aside, a spade's a spade. It's like the man cave, the man nest. So that's the kind of the energy I'm getting here, and I'm getting the feeling like the feminine. Okay, this is a little bit descriptive because there's a lot coming from this energy here. Like the feminine seems to be like there's kind of like quite a pure energy coming off from the feminine. I'm getting almost like Virgo energy, even just from the way that this parting is in the hair. It's like there's something kind of Virgo-y about it, like a little bit perfectionist. Don't attack me. But there's something a little bit perfectionist about it. I'm not even saying that's a bad thing, but there's got that energy to it. And yeah, I think obviously these two energies are kind of connecting through this meditation. There's kind of a sense here of a guidance. I'm also getting the energy. It's not to say that in the future the feminine won't be guiding the masculine in this same thing. But yeah, at the moment it kind of seems like this masculine is guiding the feminine through this thing. It gives me kind of it gives me the energy of like I want to make sure that I get it right. I don't want to overinflate it. The example that I've got is a little bit elaborate. It's a bit over the top for what I'm trying to say, but it kind of does make the point. So I'm going to say it, but just bear that in mind. It's a little bit over the top, right? That example is, let's say if this masculine was like a producer and he can play the guitar and he's teaching this feminine how to play the guitar, and the feminine doesn't know how to play the guitar at all, so she's learning and she becomes pretty good at the guitar, but she's got like an aspiring musician, and she actually goes on to be a well-renowned, like a superstar, playing her guitar and singing and stuff. So I'm not sure if that analogy made sense to you, Paltus, but what I'm trying to say here is that this masculine was great at teaching, but they weren't necessarily interested in like the mastery of that thing. So it was the perfect teacher for that feminine because it gave her that stepping stone to take her to where she was trying to go. And that's the end of that beautiful story. Now, apply that to meditation, apply that to whatever your industry or dream, fascination, hobby might be. That's kind of the story of this Paltus. So I hope that was helpful for you. I don't think there's anything more to take away from it. I hope it was helpful. If you liked the video, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for the comments that you guys are sending so far to let me know it resonates with you and stuff. I appreciate that a lot. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Okay, pile number 3 is I hope you're doing good. Pile number 3 is just gonna straighten up this paper a little bit wonky. I've got the energy, but I haven't got the illustration. Pause on that, pile 3 is. It would be the equivalent of like having the emotions but not having the communication to do it. Communication skills. This is gonna come out quite abstract. Pile number 3 is. It's a little bit like my dailies. Gonna leave that. I want to kind of draw that in black, that eye. But I'm not gonna leave that. There is a little bit similar to pile number 1's, but completely different energy of like what happens here. What happens here? Like, how are their faces connected? Look, this is deep on a different level, and I don't know why the readings are coming through in this way today. I don't think in my whole history of doing If You Pause, I've ever had readings which are so simple but so complex. I have to hold myself back in all of these piles so far from just making these an hour-long readings each. I've never really had so much like energy come from such a simple drawing. I'm not going to say so much energy come from a reading, period. I think I've had more intense readings than this one, but there's so much information coming from these readings with such simple drawings. So I don't know what to take away from that. It might be reflected in the astrology at the moment, or just the energy in general. But here's one of the key things, right? Okay, I'm gonna draw it. I'm gonna take the risk. Alright, bear with me. Pile number 3 is. But trust me, this is worth the time. I appreciate your patience. There's no way I'm time stamping this either, so you're just gonna have to be patient. But this detail is going to really make sense of this whole reading. And you've got two options here, pile threes. You can either go back and see this image before. Well, you don't have two options now I think about it. Hopefully you took a photographic memory. I did, but I forgot to tell you guys to take a photographic memory. I literally took a photo of this drawing in my head before I drew this circle. Sorry. It's too late for you. You're going to have to go back. You're going to have to go back on this video and see what it looks like. See what it looks like without this black circle. But this black circle, I'm saying that because it's we was talking about what's happening in between these characters. So I wanted you to sit possibly. It was my fault actually as a reader. I should have maybe told you to sit on it before I just let my intuition take the reins and draw this black circle. But there was definitely this energy of what's happening in between these two characters. Are their faces together? Like, are they one in front of the other? Is one behind the other? What we've almost got here is this black hole is representing of almost looking through a peephole, you know? And why I'm saying to go back to the reading is because both of these characters, one of their eyes is not seen. And it's like there's a sense here of, well, you could take this metaphorically wherever you want to take it, to be honest, but there's a sense here of the unseen parts of them coming together, which create, I'm getting is it like the illumination or the abundance is too pretty of a word. The unseen parts of them are creating gosh, help me, Lord. Yeah, I'm getting like illumination, but you could simplify it a bit to like the enlightenment. It's not quite there. It's almost the energy. So someone might be able to even help me in the comments if there's a word for this. But what's the moment when Pandora opens the box? What's that? What's that moment? I know the story almost explains it as uh, the beginning of the end. Like bad thing, it's a bad thing, but one could argue that this is a bad thing too. But it's like there was much wisdom from it, though. You could say that's like true enlightenment. When you truly become enlightened, I believe anyway, there's something very dark and depressing about it. It's realizing that you're kind of part of this sick video game. But then with that, you're able to take your power and manipulate it in the way that you want and enjoy it for the game that it is. It's kind of got that energy. But more importantly, as a relationship, there's something here very much to do with like you guys are, using the parts of yourself which are unseen, bringing those together, and it's almost like filling that last bit of the puzzle piece together. You kind of coming together is the final puzzle piece of understanding oneself. I don't know if my words are actually even explaining this very well. Part 3 is it's quite a deep read in here. And these two characters, they're almost reminding me, like, you could argue that this is kind of even giving me like Egyptian vibes, kind of Pharaoh-y vibes, ancient Egypt vibes. These two characters are quite serious, just to give some descriptive words. I guess the way, like, this would be the equivalent of, a couple looking for a keyhole, and then them going like, let me look first. Kind of shoulder to shoulder, nudging each other, going, no, let me look first. And them going, no, let me look first. And then kind of like them realizing, okay, we can both look through, And that moment that they both, I'm almost getting like creep down on the knees, hand on the door for stability, looking closer into that hole. As they both look at that same time, boom, Pandora's box opens. It's that moment. But if they were to look through that hole individually, it's like the magic don't happen. It's almost like the is it The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Like if the mindset isn't there, if the imagination's not there, it's just a damn wardrobe. But the moment that you let it in, it becomes the whole Narnia. This is kind of what's going on here, but it's not necessarily. It's something maybe to do with like. It could be to do with even like perception, or there's something here to do with like togetherness. So like just a general tip for people who chose pile number threes, there's maybe something in your relationship, like just to ground it a little bit, to give you some like just some straight up possible relationship advice in the 3D, plain and simple, not even heavily spiritual. This would be translated into like, if you run into any kind of problem, like the unseen, i.e., these characters didn't have eyes, one eye here. There's an essence here of like, or humbling yourself, because you're coming down onto your knees to look through this keyhole. You can't look through the keyhole while standing up. You have to bend down. So there's this idea of humbling and doing the thing together. That's the advice. So even if it was an argument or a disagreement, like, how do we do that together? You know, I'm getting this really weird analogy, right? So this is maybe for some of my feminines out here. I don't know why this is coming through. But let's say if, like, you're a feminine watching this and you have a kid or a newborn baby, and you're having to do the diapers for this baby every time. And let's say your partner doesn't understand the effort that you're doing through changing this baby all the time. I know this is really simplified, but you know, bear with me. The example is that, hey, whatever you know, your masculine's name might be, and not to make this gender specific, but you know, just go easy on me. Bring him in, and you don't even have to make him do it, but maybe just like explain the process of what you're doing. Okay, so babies took a shit. Terry, Bob, Harry, Zach, John. Babies took a shit. Undo the baby's nappy so you get a nice woof of that shit in his face. So first of all, he gets the slap in the face from the smell. Woof, yeah, that shit real does stink, doesn't it? Okay, so he's getting that. He's getting the smell of the shit. And then you pull out the baby wipes. She has to be cleaned up. So clean up the baby shit. God forbid it's not one of those super scary ones where you got to bath the baby because shit got everywhere. Baby's got diarrhea and stuff. Let's hope it's a solid poo. Clean up the baby. And so he's seeing that, okay, oh damn, that actually takes, and he's really quick at this, depending on the feminine energy who's doing it. Damn, they're quick at doing this, but you know, Bob, Terry, or Jack, whatever his name is, he's watching and he can see, okay, this is actually takes some time here. She's doing it really quick, but I can see if I was doing that's going to take me some time. Clean up the baby with the baby wipes. Get the new nappy out. You might have to put some little nappy cream on there. You've seen that, okay, oh damn. She's using the nappy cream too. She's got enough of those stored up just in case we run out. Oh damn. Tie the baby up. Button up the little onesie thing. And then pick up the baby, give the baby a kiss on the cheek. By the time you've done all this shit, I don't mean shit in a negative way, but like by the time you've done all that work and that masculine's seen all the process, he's gonna have some form of next appreciation for you. Like you've brung him into the peephole. Like he didn't have to necessarily even like physically do anything, but he's at least come into the vision. He's come and seen what's happened. You know, this masculine has come and seen what's happened. And in that, there's an appreciation. Now, you can apply that, you know, I've tried to keep it as simple as possible and, you know, like as 3D as possible without talking about the stars, vibration, energy, and the unseen things. Now, if you're watching this, you'll be able to apply this to those things. If you're talking about different alignments in astrology and you're the masculine and the feminine doesn't get it, or vice versa, or if you're talking about, you know, like spiritual knowledge or certain meditations or ideas even that the other person doesn't get, there's a beauty in kind of showing them the process, showing them the unseen. And even if they, you know, like, it's not to say that that other person is meant to be coming onto your level, but just for them to see that process, you know, like you might, for example, with the baby example, you may be completely happy doing that duty or that that chore, right? But there's something in it, and I was going to say beautiful, that maybe that's the right word. There's something beautiful in kind of the acknowledgement of that duty, and you can really apply that to however you want. That could be cooking, you know, and that goes the other way. That could be the masculine. I know sometimes in my life, like, I'm very hidden when it comes to my work stuff, the things I work on. But sometimes there's a beauty sometimes with kind of showing my partner like how much goes into work and the work that I do. You know, there's a humbling to that. It's like, okay, I can see the effort that goes into that. For anyone who might be doing YouTube out there, you know that it's one thing to watch a video, it's another thing to create a video. There's an effort there. I know there's artists out there who have been gifted from God and find no effort in drawing, and it just kind of just slips off their fingers like nothing. Well, no, not for me. I have to train that muscle. In architecture, I definitely have to train that muscle. It's even worse in architecture because, you know, regulations change every fucking 5 minutes. So you might be drawing something at one dimension 1 month, and if a regulation changes, that dimension's got to change. Any of my architects out there know what I'm saying. You know, things change. Contracts change. Clients' preferences change. Right, so like there's something here with letting someone letting someone into your world allows you both to experience this new world. I think that's a really good way of finishing this reading. Pile number 3 is in allowing someone into your world, you create a new world. So amen to that. If you enjoyed the reading, pile number 3s, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out my little dailies that I'm doing on this channel as well. Give them a little view or a little like to support what I'm doing here. Help them to go a little bit more viral and see, bring some new people in. If you're ever wondering how you can help out with the channel, that's a simple one to do. Like those daily videos, or just like my videos in general, share them. And yeah, I hope this was helpful to you. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.